You're watching Lawndale Community Cable Television, Channel 60. The following program has been made possible in part by a grant through the Lawndale Cable Usage Corporation.
Good evening, fans, and welcome to Channel 60 Sports 1996 high school football presentation. Let's go down to the field now for the opening coin toss of tonight's contest between the Hawthorne Cougars and the visiting Cubs of Loyola from Westchester.
Turn your backs over here. Hawthorne will receive. All right,
and now you see the Cougar captains out on the field. Hawthorne did win the coin toss, and they have elected to receive. We see Buck McCorvey coming off. Buck, of course, is one of the captains. He's number 5. He's joined by number 1, number 3, and number 4. We're going to get that for you in just a moment here, friends. Now you see the Cubs of Loyola coming onto the field. The Cubs are rated number 3 in the area by the LA Times. Their 1995 record was 11-2. And of course, the Cougars' 1995 record was 8-4. This contest continues a tradition started by Coach Robbins a few years ago of scheduling tough non-league opponents. He feels that that's the way that you get ready to have a winning season in league competition by playing the very best. We know, of course, that for the last couple of years, the Cougars have opened with the Matha. And this year, they're opening with a very, very good Loyola team. You hear the players, some of the players being introduced now.
And here come your Hawthorne Cougars.
While we've got a moment, fan, it gives me an opportunity to mention to you that a familiar voice on Channel 60 Sports will not be with us this year, much to our dismay. Dan Simeon, who was recently married and has since moved to San Jose. We certainly wish Dan the very best, and obviously will be missed here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. But nonetheless, the show's going to go on because we've got the main parts of the crew still intact. Mike Galarza, of course, is still executive producer and director of Channel 60 Sports, joined by Tom Strickfaden, along with Ali, Jose, and Armin, and of course myself, Rufus Washington. So we're still here. We're looking forward to an exciting season of bringing you Bay League action featuring, of course, on the one hand, the Hawthorne Cougars and our other feature team that we'll be seeing in a couple of weeks. And that, of course, is the Lusinger Olympians. I'm joined right now in the booth as we prepare for kickoff by certainly a familiar voice to all at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 6, and that's none other than Alex Manila. And Alex, of course, is going to be doing some spot commentary for us, as well as giving us some vital statistical information. As we prepare for kickoff, Alex, your thoughts about this 1996 Cougar football team?
Well, once again, Rufus, this is the game that pretty much sets the tone for the rest of the season. This is what the coaches use as a gauge, this is what the players use as a reference, and we will all tell after this game how good the Cougars are and how much better they can get.
Well, we're just about ready for kickoff. The Cubs have lined up. The Cougars are back to receive. Kickoff is handled by number 12, and it's a touchback. Cougars will take over at their own 20-yard line. That was one of the mistakes that Coach Dan Robbins talked about earlier in the week, not wanting to happen, that they had to play mistake-free football in order to be competitive against this very good Loyola football team. And there you saw a small mistake, not one that really hurts the effort that much, but nonetheless, you would like to have had an opportunity for the return. So they start at their own 20, they keep it on the ground. The first place from scrimmage, they're going to pick up a couple of yards. A second down for the Cougars. Looks like the scoreboard's going to make it about they're running a no huddle now. It would appear the quarterback this year for the Cougars, of course, is a first-time starter. That's Ray Rivera. Got flags on the play. Let me go back and tell you just a little bit about Ray Rivera. Ray, of course, is a junior. He did work out in the summer passing league. That penalty is going to go against the Cougars, offsides on the offensive line. Cougars will be dependent on a couple of players who are returning with experience to make an impact this year. As I say, that includes Buck McCorvey, includes Omar Souf, and a couple other guys that we'll mention as we go along in the broadcast. Quarterback keeper, and maybe it gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be even shorter there. So it's going to bring up a third down now for the Cougars. So it's a 3rd and 12. We've just got underway, fans, and we've got an injured Cub down on the field.
Where's the doctor? Yeah, we're the home team. Where is he?
Cub coaching staff out to attend to the injured player. Let's take this moment to talk about who some of the players that we've not yet identified for the Cougars are. In the backfield, of course, we've seen Milton Gutierrez, who's a captain. Milton had an excellent rushing season last year, along with Greg Toombs, number 3. As we mentioned, Buck McCorvey is also a captain, number 5. And Keti Teafu is their other captain. So they're going just a little bit slow right now for the Cougars, but they've had an opportunity to regroup due to the injured Loyola player, who's now being helped off the field. It's 3rd and 11, fans. We don't have number 65 in our program. Looks like it might be a passing situation for the Cougars. They send the man in motion to the right side. They keep it on the ground, however, and they're going to be stopped short of the first down. They'll bring up a punting situation now for the Cougars. That was Milton Gutierrez. Cougars didn't get a lot going for them on that possession, Alex.
No, they didn't. They're looking a little bit nervous, a little rusty. We'll find out after the next possession.
Low snap. They do get it away, though, nearly blocked. Excellent punt, fair catch signal for and taken at their own 42-yard line. So it'll be our first opportunity with 10:25 left in the first quarter to see the Cubs of Loyola go on offense. Their first play from scrimmage, they keep it on the ground. Breaks around the left side. Good running in there to number 15. Finally brought down, but not until after he picked up nearly 20 yards on the play. It was Wesley Willard, who's a fullback for them. The quarterback, of course, is a senior, Ray Casper. Casper last year started midway through last season. Passed for 1,122 yards and 10 TDs. And for a 6 or 7 game season, those are pretty impressive numbers. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This time it's number 28 with the carry, and of course that's Stephen Falk. Picks up 6 yards on the carry. He's going to make it a 2nd down and 4 now for the Cubs of Loyola. I'm being told that the running back for number 28 for Loyola is a cousin, actually, of Indianapolis Colt, great Marshall Falk. Here we see number 15 again. He's got a wide open field, finally brought down by number 11 of the Cougars with a touchdown saving tackle. Making that tackle for the Cougars is none other than Hunter. His first name is Sheldon Hunter. He's a 6 foot, 158-pound defensive back for the Cougars, senior. This drive started at their own 42-yard line. They're down near the Cougar 10-yard line now. We're still in first quarter action. Now we got a flag on the field. We have to wait for the official signal on this one. Looks like they're calling defensive encroachment against the Cougars.
What's up where you line it up? What's the ball?
So Loyola has 1st and goal from the 6-yard line of the Cougars.
Hey, cameraman. Hey, cameraman, I'm going right there.
The backs are split. Hand off to the second back through, who's Falk. Falk gets down. Picks up maybe a yard or 2 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and goal. Looks like he's at about the 3-yard line. So here's where the Cougar defense will need to stiffen.
I'm already white balance. You want a white balance, Mike?
They give him a yard gain on the play, makes it a 2nd down and 4 now. This is the opening drive for Loyola. They keep it on the ground again to Falk, number 28. And it's touchdown. Referee was a little slow with the signal, but he knifed his way in there, Alex. And that was an impressive drive for Loyola, having taken the ball at their own 42-yard line. They drove 58 yards. Right through the Cougar defense, kept it on the ground, 6 points.
That's right there, Rufus. You can see how dominating the offensive line is for the Loyola Cubs. They're opening up those huge gaping holes, and obviously a little bit of speed, a little bit of talent, and you got a big game.
Extra point attempt coming up now. Snap, the place, the kick. It's good. So with 8:08 left in the first quarter, Loyola jumps on top by a score of 7-0. Cougars will be going on offense as soon as we kick off. So the Cougars, Alex, have to be just a little bit stunned there. A couple of things happened that I'm sure they would rather have happened otherwise. First of all, they didn't get any offensive momentum of their own on their opening drive. And then they couldn't get any defensive momentum to hold the Cougars, to hold the Cubs rather. Cubs took possession on the punt, marched right down the field. Looks like Coach Robbins is going to have to make some adjustments on the fly here.
He sure will. Maybe this is a little bit of the first game jitters or first possession jitters, and maybe it's all going to tell its tale by at least halftime. At least maybe at halftime in the locker room, the coaches make some adjustments. You see the real Cougar team come out in the second half.
Well, we've still got plenty of action left here in the first half, fans. We've got 8:08 left in the first quarter.
Hit the right there!
Cougars here now receiving their second kickoff, and they're going to let this one go through as well. A little indecision between the two deep men. Of course, that was number 12, Keith Green, and number 26, Kevin Akpoti. All right, let's take another look, fans, at that Loyola touchdown from a moment ago. Here we see the handoff to Falk. Falk goes right and just knifes his way in there. The defensive coverage comes up, but it's a little too late. The ball had broken the plane. And on the stop for the Cougars, or attempting to make the play, of course, was Kevin Akpoti, as we said, along with some other Cougars. Here's your next play on the ground. With the handle there is Milton Gutierrez. And Milton, of course, will obviously be the feature back in the Cougar running attack this year. And he stepped up in a couple of games last year in a big, big way for the Cougars. So it's a 2nd down and 1. They give Gutierrez a gain of 9 on the play. Keep it on the ground to Gutierrez again. Should be close to the 1st down, and it is. So, already the Cougars having a better drive than the first mouse. They picked up a 1st down. They spot the ball at about the 33-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10. Scoreboard shows 2nd and 10. We've got 7:15 and some change left in the 1st quarter. Scoreboard should show 1st and 10 instead of 2nd and 10, I believe. Here's a pass out in the flat. Nice reception made by number 26. He's going to be out near a 1st down. Kevin Akpoti. So the Cougars showing some positive movement of their own now, Alex. This drive is looking considerably better than their opening drive.
It sure was. It seems like now you can probably see the quarterback throw a little bit more, a couple short conservative passes until he can get the confidence to go deep and make the connection.
They give it off, looks like, to Gutierrez again. He's going to pick up maybe a couple of yards on the play. Should bring up a 2nd and 8. Ball's at the 47-yard line of the Cougars. This drive started at their own 20-yard line. Backfield now, Keteofe splits out to the left side. Here's a pass out in the flat. Defensed well by the Cubs. That pass was to Akpoti, and the Cubs are there waiting for him. Bootleg play, fake, he's rolling right, makes the completion. Looks like it should be enough for the 1st down, and it is. That was number 33 for Noah Nagata. Excellent play there by Rivera. Let's go to a replay, fans, of that last pass by Rivera to Nagata. Here we see the rollout, excellent reception. And after taking a lick by 3 Cub players, he still holds on to the ball. Good football there. Of course, we know these Cougars are a well-drilled and well-coached football team in the fundamentals of the game. Once again, to keep it on the ground is Gutierrez. He's going to pick up about 4 yards on the play. And, of course, they're now in Loyola territory at the, let's call it 37-yard line, fans. We've got 4:50 left in the 1st quarter. Loyola leading by a score of 7-0. As we come back to live action now. Backfield consists of Kete Tuiafo and Milton Gutierrez. Hand off to Tiafo on the dive, and he's going to be out near the first down. Depends on where they spotted at, but it's going to be awfully close. And the referee signals that it is a first down. So the Cougars are moving steadily right now, fans, and the spirits on the Cougars sideline are definitely lifted. A very impressive second drive for the Cougars here.
Moving almost 50 yards so far.
Quarterback keeper this time. Going to pick up maybe a couple of yards on the play. Not quite sure if that play unfolded quite the way it was written up. But it was for a positive gain on the play. Makes it a second down now. They kind of call it 2nd and 8 from the just outside the 30-yard line of Loyola. One thing about this Cougar drive so far, they've shown them a little bit of everything. They've passed the ball, they've run it, they've done a quarterback keeper, and that, of course, keeps the defense like Loyola's guessing. Now they send the man in motion. Drop back. Here's a pass out in the left flat. If he turns his head up, it's going to be close. That pass was incomplete. It was intended for Jermaine Chapman. We had been identifying number 26 as Kevin Nakpoti, but we've been told that that in fact number 26 is worn by Jermaine Chapman. Chapman now comes off the field. It's a 3rd down and 8 for the Cougars. As my friend Alex would say, this is the play to keep the drive alive. Got to pick up the first here. Rivera drops back the pass, goes over the middle, throws behind his intended receiver, who is Marquise Johnson. So it's going to bring up a kicking situation. It's a 4th down, that's for sure. 4th and 8. We see Buck McCorvey coming out on the field. Well, it looks like they're going to make the field goal attempt. That's why I say there was a kicking situation, Alex. I couldn't tell. Yeah. Well, they faked the kick. This will be short of the first down, but we've got a flag on the play. We've got a flag on the play, and this could be important to see who this goes against. And they're going to pick up the flag. They're waving it off. It's going to be Loyola ball. Let's see where they spotted it. Looks like they're going to spot it at the referee standing at the 27-yard line. We'll see where the official spot is. So the Cougars go into their trick bag. This time it's not successful, but once again, as I say, one thing about it, we're going to see the play here. We see the tail end of it with Gutierrez carrying off the pitch back, but it failed to pick up the first down. So this will be Loyola's second possession of the game with 3:25 left in the first quarter. Fans, they lead by a score of 7-0. A good drive for the Cougars nonetheless, though, Alex, even though they didn't come up with points on it.
Yeah, it seems a little positive. They can build on that and hopefully get better the next possession.
Right now, the question is going to be, can their defense show some containment? And number 28, Falk, rushes for nearly another first down. I wasn't sure, Alex, whether to believe when they say that Stephen Falk, number 28 for the Cubs, is a cousin of Marshall Falk of the Indianapolis Colts, but the way this guy is running, I'm inclined to believe it, whether it's true or not.
Right, he got that hereditary speed, and you can tell it's in the genes.
So it's a 2nd and 1 for the Cubs from the 39-yard line. They keep it on the ground once again. Looks like forward progress will net them the first down before Falk was driven back. And that's the official signal from the referee. First down. Ball spotted just outside the 40-yard line. see, I see Buck McCorvey over on the left side as a linebacker. Of course, he's an integral part, one of the captains, one of the key guys on this Cougar defense. Here's a rollout, pass out in the flat. It's going to be incomplete. That pass was intended for number 21, John Hilvert. Let me mention to you that the head coach for the Loyola Cubs is Steve Grady. His assistants are Mike Galuli, Jason Parada, P.J. Pasquale, Rick Pedro Reyes, and Greg Wells. They, of course, feature colors of blue and white. They're in their white jerseys with the blue trim tonight. The Cougars, of course, are in their SC jerseys, shall we call them. The cardinal top and the gold pants. Here's a screen pass in the flat, man, and he's got 3 blockers out in front. But we see a nice tackle there by the Cougars. Going to have a flag on the play. That tackle was made by Afi Fanua, and that's a name that Cougar fans know very well. Fanua and Buck McCorvey are certainly 2 of the keys on this defense. And there we see Afi Fanua there, 5'11". Is that 210 or 270? Either way, he's big. They're telling me it's 210. He's a senior, of course. Also plays some fullback, and we've seen him in the past featured in the Cougar running game, just as we've seen Buck McCorvey as well in the Cougar running game. So it's a 2nd down and 10 now for Loyola. Ball still at the 40-yard line. They fake the handoff. They drop back the pass. Nice drop back. Beautiful looking pass. Led his man just a little bit too far. That pass was intended for Scott Walter. Sheldon Hunter was a defensive player on the coverage who fell on the play, but fortunately it didn't cause him any harm. Now we see let's take a look back at that previous play, fans. There you see the nice defensive stop there, and somewhere in there was a penalty against Loyola. It's a 3rd down and 11 now for them. Got another flag on the play. This may go against the offense. That one's overthrown. So their quarterback has misfired on his last couple of passes, Ray Casper. But let's see who the flag is. Flag's going to be against Loyola. So after an impressive first drive, Alex, Loyola's starting to show that they're human after all. They've had a couple of penalties on this drive that's basically stopped them in their tracks.
Yeah, it seems like Robinson's coaching staff has kind of figured out the Cub riddle. And with regards to offensive strategy, it seems like they're doing certain things fundamentally to slow down Loyola. And it seems like when they're pressured to pass, okay, the Loyola quarterback is not as successful as he was last year.
Back to receive for the Cougars, number 12, Keith Green, and number 26, Jermaine Chapman. Here's the punt. Looks like it's going to go to Green. Oh, and he mishandles again. And this is going to be recovered by Loyola. A huge mistake, the kind of mistake that Coach Dan Robbins said they absolutely could not make. Keith Green mishandles the punt. Loyola recovers at about the 15-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10. They're going to spot it officially at the 17. And that, Alex, is a tough, tough break for the Cougars.
Right now, you can tell Robbins is getting flashbacks of last year, and as you can see on the replay right here, it wasn't quite in the end zone like a couple years ago, but it was bobbled, it was mishandled, and the Loyola Cubs take over with excellent field position.
Looks like they're going to spot it just inside the 15-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Cubs. Big turnover on the Cougars' part there. Huge. I mean, they had some good momentum going. Here's Falk again with the carry. He turns it up inside. It's going to be brought down by Buck McCorvey and a couple of other Cougars. And you can see McCorvey right now is not real pleased with the turn of events for the Cougars. And you see him 6'1", 215-pound senior. It's going to be a 2nd down and 4. We're under a minute left in the first quarter, fans. Loyola leading by a score of 7-0, knocking on the door again, courtesy of a Cougar turnover on the punt. This time they give it off to number 15, and he dives over the right side. That's Wesley Willard, picks up maybe 2 yards on the play. You're going to give him a first down. It's going to make it a 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line. Looks like it's spotted at about the 2, judging from where the far yard marker is. Casper, the quarterback, brings him up to the line of scrimmage. They're in an I formation this time. The deep back appears to be Falk. And he hands off to Falk. Falk cuts it back inside. Touchdown. So Loyola capitalizes, Alex, on the turnover. And usually that's what happens. They come back to hurt you. Let's go back and look at a replay of that Loyola touchdown on the handoff to Falk. You'll see him line up in the I formation. They're going to give it to Falk as a second back through. There you see the handoff, and you see Falk cut it back inside and goes through virtually untouched. Here's the extra point attempt now coming up for the Cubs. Extra points up, and it's good. So with 7 seconds left in the first quarter, the score now 14-0 in favor of the visiting the visiting Cubs of Loyola. We're getting our colleague Alex on headset now. Tell me, is Alex's mic up? Okay. So you'll be hearing a little more frequently. Longtime voice on Channel 6 Sports. My friend and yours, Alex Manella. Right now, Alex, we're looking for some of your expert analysis with regard to where the Cougars are going to have to go to fix this problem. One of the changes we see has already been made. We see that number 12 is not back to receive. That was Keith Green. Coach Robbins obviously recognizing, Alex, that a change needed to be made. I'm sure he'll work with the young man more in practice. But right now, when you make a turnover like that, you can expect the coach to make a change.
You sure can, because those are some of the things you don't practice in a game. In practice, you don't practice all the intensity, the emotion, all the nervousness.
So here's their third kickoff of the game. This time it's Gutierrez who picks it up. He's turned back at about the 25-yard line. Let's see if that's the 25. It should. Or they're going to show him at the 15-yard line. I'm sorry, I said the 25. So it'll be Cougar ball, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. We've got 2 seconds left in the first quarter. And there's Gutierrez that we just spoke of. He's also a senior player. Cougar team this year, Alex, has a lot of experience in terms of the number of seniors and varsity and guys who've played varsity football here. That's one reason the expectations for 1996 are so high for this Cougar team. They keep it on the ground, nothing doing there. That play ends the first quarter, and while we prepare for the second quarter, let's go to that replay of the last running play by the Cougars. Here you see the handoff to Gutierrez. Number 79, it looks like, for Loyola, slipped in there and brought him down from behind. And for a man his size, that's showing a lot of speed.
It sure is. He's one of the guys that the Cougars will be looking for leadership, other than the captains on the team and Lawndale Miyamat as well. Some of these names you're going to be hearing all season long. Let's hope you pay attention and follow Channel 60 throughout the season, because judging by the rankings, there's going to be a lot of impressive games, a lot of excitement coming your way on Channel 60 Sports.
Second down coming up for the Cougars. Scoreboard shows 1st and 10, but that's incorrect. Looks like it's about a 2nd and 12 for the Cougars. Ball spotted at about the 11-yard line. There's a fake handoff. Pass is going to be stopped for virtually no gain. That pass was to Keti Tuafu. It's a 3rd down now for the Cougar offense as we have just started second quarter action, fans, with Loyola leading by a score of 14-0. 7 of those points coming courtesy of the Cougar turnover on the Loyola punt. They gave the Cubs of Loyola the ball at the Cougar 15-yard line. Another pass in play. Rivera on the run. Rivera turns it up. Rivera's going to be met by a wall of Cub defenders, and he wisely, Alex, takes the route out of bounds. No use taking a hit there, man. I mean, there was nothing but white jersey surrounding him completely.
There sure was. That's pretty good speed by the young quarterback. He's got shades of Kenji Tatum, the scrambling ability, not quite as much as a Curtis Conway, but he's making a little style of his own and trying to make a statement in this, his first varsity season.
Cougar punt attempt coming up now. Low snap, gets it on the bounce, gets it away, shanks it off the right side of his foot, takes a nice Cougar bounce, touch the Loyola player. This may be a Cougar turnover going their way. It looks like it is. Looks like it is. Let's see if we can see who's in there on that recovery. We've called his name before, and that's Buck McCorvey. Big Buck, number 5. Referees having some discussion here, though, fans. Let's see what this discussion is about. Cougars have every reason to think this is going to be their ball. Hold on, here we're going to see the punt here. Nice shot by a camera staff of the ball sailing through. There you see it hit, and it hits the Loyola player. And right there, McCorvey and a couple of others get in on it, but they rule some kind of infraction, fans. They call offside against the Cougars on the play, so now they're going to have to re-punt it. Once again, they skipped the punt in there. It's the same short punt. Fair catch being called for. Fair catch made by number 11 at the 40-yard line. That's Scott Walter. So right now the Cougars are having difficulty catching the break. We've got 11:05 left in the first half, fans. Score 14-0 in favor of Loyola. Of course, as we had mentioned earlier, Loyola comes in off of a 11-3 record from last year, and of course they're a perennial powerhouse, and they're rated number 3, fans, by the Times in the entire area, which includes LA and Orange County. And you're talking about being ranked up there with some very, very good football teams, the likes of Mater Dei, Servite, San Juan Capistrano, Bosco, a number of good football programs, and this is a good team. Of course, our own Cougars fall in there pretty high themselves at number 18, Alex.
And that's pretty respectable, too, considering there's a lot of good teams in the area that aren't even ranked. But then again, when you look at it, Rufus, a lot of these rankings preseason have to go by what the team did last year, what their records were last year, how many players they got returning, and their head coaching. So since most of the players are coming back from Hawthorne and also from Lusinger, even though our crosstown rival Lusinger is not ranked this year, but their potential and the schedule that they play, last year they were 4-6. I think this year, Coach Bobby Greer's team, if they play up to their capability, the way the fired up style that they play, they could easily switch that record around. They could easily win 6 and lose 4.
And you're right, Alex. I mean, and Lusinger definitely has a number of good players coming back, starting, of course, with quarterback Kenny Riley, as well as the running back Keith Miller, whom we've seen the last couple of seasons, Marquise Williams, Rashawn Cook, Jermon McGee, rather. We'll see the Olympians in a couple of weeks. Well, punting for the third time now on this same drive will be the Cougars once again.
Uh-oh. Could have been
This
a
time
fake.
they try a trick play. The quarterback picks it up. If he can turn the corner, he's got some blocking. Ooh, takes a tough hit on the sideline. Looks like he may have picked up the first down on the play, though, and he did. But, boy, he paid a heck of a price for it.
Yeah, Mark McFarland, number 24 for the Cougars, came up a little high with that forearm. A little shiver.
Let's see if we've got a replay on that one. Excellent play there. And here we're going to see the replay. It was a fake punt taken by the quarterback. That's Rivera. Rivera's looking to turn upfield, and he does. He's got a couple of blocks there. He's heading up the sideline, and boom, you see the good lick put on by number 24 for Loyola. Rivera gave one for the team there. Picked up a first down, though, kept the drive alive. That's most important, to keep it on the ground. That looks like Kete Tuafu with the carry there. We've got 10:40 clock running left in the first half, fans. Cougars right now trailing by a score of 14-0. However, they picked up a first down. Their last drive actually went pretty well before it stalled, and they finally got this drive going again after 2 unsuccessful punt attempts, but they kept possession and they converted it into a first down. There's a pass out in the flat. The reception is made. They're getting his first down and then some. That was Jermaine Chapman with the reception. Suicide play there by the defender for Loyola. He went for the interception, missed. Chapman made the big catch, Alex, and picked up a first down on the play.
That's a chance that a lot of cornerbacks and defenders take. It's kind of like a do or die play. You either deflect it in midair, catch it, or get burned.
That time he got burned. Excellent analysis, Alex. Excellent analysis. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Cougars from their own 40-yard line. They keep it on the ground once again, and that's Gutierrez. Gutierrez picks up a first down on the play. Takes it into Loyola territory at the Loyola 48-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Looks like the Cubbies for Loyola look like they're getting a little worn down. These big-time Cougars here are rising to the occasion on that play. You see the big hole. They're just muscling the Cubs out of their way, and as a result, big yardage.
And the Cougars have some beef on that offensive line. Anchored over here on the left side by number 79, Ernesto Gutierrez. Here we see Rivera dropping back. There's a pass. It was a little high. Are they going to call it an interception? And they are. Boy, sure looked like that ball touched the ground. Let's see on the replay, fans. That sure looked like it touched the ground, but the referees are signaling an interception by Loyola, so yet another turnover kills the Cougar drive. Here we see the pass. We'll see if we can see the end of it here. Ooh, yeah. Well, they're saying he caught it. Looks like it may have bounced when he hit the ground, but nonetheless, those are the breaks, and it's a first down now at the 25-yard line for Loyola. They keep it on the ground, And a nice hit put on there once again by the Cougars' main defender, number 5, Buck McCorvey.
Looks like Bucky looks like a big scarlet and gold colored wall on that play.
One thing about it, Buck comes to play. Let's watch the replay again.
Roadblock up ahead, should say. Big number 5 right there.
And there you see Buck completely stops his forward momentum, and it's fortunate there that the young man didn't injure his leg or ankle on that play because he was completely bent back. Once again, they keep it on the ground. Busted play, McCorvey again in on the tackle along with number 8 there, Afi Fanua. So it's a 3rd down and 5 now for Loyola. The Cougar defense now is also starting to rise to the occasion and is stiffened very nicely here. Let's see if they can hold them. Big 3rd down play for the Cougar defense. Loyola has a man in the slide over to the left side here. Be there right. There's a pass out, and it's incomplete. Overthrew his intended receiver. That was John Hilvert. Had a man in the flat, but couldn't make the connection, and the Cougars now will get another chance at it. And here's a nice move, fans. You may not immediately see it, but what Coach Robbins is doing is he's sending number 12, Keith Green, back out on the field to handle the punt return, Alex. And that's showing confidence in the young man right now tonight. He wanted to take him out for a play, let him compose himself, but he's going to give him another chance.
See if he can redeem himself.
Looks like he's going to have a chance to. He makes the reception. At least he makes the catch. We got flags on the play. This may be a face mask. We'll have to wait and see.
The way he was hit on that play, you'd think he wouldn't want to touch the ball. He took a licking.
Referees are huddling. Let's see what the call is going to be. It's going to be a flag against the Cougars.
It's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah,
you're the one that's getting hit.
Yeah. Plus, I'm trying to understand what his call is here. Cougars maintain possession though. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Ball spotted right at the 20-yard line. At their own 20, that is. Loyola showing blitz. Cougars keep the ball on the ground for very, very little gain on the play. We've got 7:50 left in the first half. Cougars trailing by 14 points at 14-0. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. There you get a good shot of Loyola defense. These being the Loyola Cubs, not to be confused, of course, with the Chicago Cubs. These guys probably win more games in a week than the Cubs win in a season. Here's a pass out in the flat. It's going to be dropped. That pass was intended for number 13, Malcolm Summers.
Well, Rufus, for a team that's so highly regarded in the state, Loyola hasn't really impressed me that much. I mean, when you're ranked number 1, 2, 3, one of the top 10 by a major newspaper and even in CIF, I mean, you have to be more dominating than what the Cubs have shown tonight.
Well, it's the first game for everybody. Of course, right now, Rivera's back to pass. He pulls it down. He heads upfield. He fakes a couple of guys out. He's got a 1st down. This guy is showing excellent foot speed. This is some of the best running that I've seen by Cougar quarterbacks in the last couple of years, Alex.
And you know what? He's only playing his first varsity game. Wait till he matures next week.
We'll see on the replay here. Rivera drops back to pass. pulls it down, decides to take off on his own. His blockers finally catch up on what he's doing, and he just flat out outruns the defenders of Loyola. Picks up the first down on his own before he's driven out of bounds by number 11 for Loyola. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Ball spotted at their own 37-yard line. Here's Gutierrez. Gutierrez breaks one tackle. However, he can't break away from number 80. And number 80 brings him down. That, of course, is Anton Harris. And now we see Harris coming off the field. Looks like he may have injured himself on the play.
He's very observant. It looked like he was patting himself on the head a couple times for a good play. He needed air.
Well, he's heading straight to the bench. We'll try to get an idea of what's wrong with him, if anything, in a moment, fans. 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars now. Gutierrez once again going around the right side in the counter play. Play started to develop pretty nicely, but the Cub defense collapsed on him right away, led by number 83. Looks like Darrigan Shady. And number 56, the linebacker, Sloan Joseph.
Yeah, that's one thing you cannot downplay is how smart these linemen are. I mean, they're not just big, and they're not just maybe a little quick, but they are smart. They're smart ball players, and they react and they read the plays real well.
3rd and 10 for the Cougars now. Need to pick up another first down here to keep it on the ground. Draw play to Gutierrez. He's going to be stopped short of the first down. Looks like by about a yard. Decision for the Cougar coaching staff here as to whether to punt it away or go for it. We've got 5:30 left in the first half.
Well, knowing Robbins the way I know him the past 6 years, I think you're going to see a trick play on this one.
And you see the timeout being called by the Cougar staff. They want to talk this one over. It's a tough decision, Alex, because this Loyola football team has shown that they can move the football. And the question becomes, do you want the damage to become any worse than it already is at 14-0? Because if you don't make it, I mean, man, you're giving these guys the ball on your own side of the field. And it's tough enough holding them out from 70 yards away, let alone trying to hold them out from just a little over 45 yards away.
Well, this is a big test for both teams. One guessing, the other one trying to execute. Like I said, I've seen Robbins coach here the past 6 years, and 9 times out of 10, this situation like this, maybe not so early in the season, he already had a fake attempt earlier. I think this is the chance where you either go for it or you try a fake.
Well, they're stepping up to the line of scrimmage. Let's see, they may try to drum off. They do keep it, and it looks like they've got enough for the first down from where the side judge is running in from, and it is a first down. So the Cougars make the gutsy call, and it pays off for them. First down. All right, so in their first game against a non-league opponent, the Cougars decide to go for it. They want to test themselves, and as I said before, this program is set up to test itself against the very best. Big stop there by number 79 on Milton Gutierrez. Gutierrez gets up a little bit woozy, shakes the cobwebs out, and now heads back to his huddle. Loss of 5 on the play for the Cougars, going to make it a 2nd down and 15 now from their own 45-yard line. Ball placed squarely on the 45-yard line. They need to get to the 40 of Loyola. We've got 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Cougars trailing by a score of 14-0. One thing about this drive, though, they're maintaining possession of the ball and eating up lots of clock time. This time Gutierrez comes in motion. They pass out in the right flat. Receptions may pick up about 4 of the 5 that they lost. Going to make it a 3rd and 11. Kete Tuafu comes off. Rivera looks to the sideline for the play, being signaled in by Coach Robbins. our next break in action, we'll run through the rest of the coaching staff of the Cougars for you. 3rd and 12 now for the Cougars. Big third down play. They keep it on the ground. They're going to bust it. This is going to be close. It should be a first down. That was Afi Fanua with the carry. I told you, fans, that you would see him carry the ball some. He's a heck of a defensive player, but he can do excellent spot duty as a fullback for you. There you see Afi on your screen. Back to live action here. Fanua picked up the first down on the draw. Another draw play with Fanua making the carry, and Fanua is picking up pretty good chunks of yardage here, Alex.
He sure is, and he's holding on to the ball. That's the impressive thing. He's got the opening. He takes advantage of that. He accelerates, a couple fancy footwork. One of the things that I like about these ball carriers for Hawthorne is they're making up all this yardage amongst themselves. They don't need much help. They're rambling. They're knocking down defenders, getting up that extra yardage. As you can see right here, nobody's helping him up in front, and he's knocking people down.
That was 2 plays ago when Fanua picked up the key first down for the Cougars. It's a 2nd down now. They call it 2nd and 6. They're in Cub territory. This time it's a bootleg by the quarterback. He hits by the sideline, and he's driven down.
That looked
Looks
like a late
it
hit
was
there.
a hit out of bounds. However, no signal by the officials. One thing you got to be concerned just a little bit, Alex, is that Rivera's taking a couple of tough hits. Here's a replay of the bootleg play by Ray Rivera there. You're going to see him turn it up, headed toward the sidelines, and that was pretty close. Could have gone either way. Say 3rd and 3 now. Fake the handoff, drops back to pass, looking for a receiver, being chased out of the pocket. It's incomplete. This should be another situation where the Cougars go for it, I would think. If you're going to go for it on your own side of the field.
Yeah, well, here's the replay of all the pressure that the Loyola Cubs are putting on the Cougars. And there you see the incomplete.
Tried to sidearm it, a little bit low, falls incomplete. So ball spotted at the 30-yard line. Say 4th and 3. We've got 2:15 left in the first half. Cougars come out in the I formation. They got receivers split left and right. There's a pass. The reception is made. This should pick up the first down, and it does. Reception made there by number 33 for the Cougars, and let's give him a mention. That was Fanua Nagata. But there's going to be a penalty against the Cougars, it looks like. Let's go to the replay while the officials sort out the penalty here. It all may be for naught. Receiver's wide open there. You see him get past the first down mark. But more importantly, there's going to be a call made by the officials here that may negate that play.
Nevertheless, you got to give the quarterback a little bit of credit here. Oh, they're wiping it off? Okay. Make up our minds now. The referees are kind of like making the emotion and go back and forth.
So, in a break for the Cougars, the referee picks up the flag that originally appeared that it was going to go against the Cougars. So now we got a 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Ball spotted at the 21-yard line of Loyola. This is the Cougars' deepest penetration of the night.
I guess you could also say it's a learning experience for the officials as well, right, Rufus?
Exactly. Well, first games are like that for all of us. Even a couple of guys like you and me who've been in this hustle for several years now. This is our 10th season of Channel 60 coverage. First game, we got a lot of bugs to get worked out.
Uh-oh, look at that.
There's a nice pitch back. However, they smelled it out completely. Excellent play calling by the Cougars, but also excellent defensive coverage by Loyola.
He's limping. Number 8 is limping.
Let's see, we're going to have another timeout. Let's look at the replay here. Here's the reception by number 7 with the pitch back. 2 for Noah. Number 7, of course, is Marquise Johnson. And this should be the Cougars' last time out of the first half. By my count, that's 3 timeouts so far. Now we see Fanoa limping off the field, and that's a blow on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, if he's injured. It looks like he's got an injury to one of his legs.
Well, with a name like Fanua, if he's any relation to Phil Fanua of Maricosta and an assistant football coach on the staff, which I think he is, I don't think a little twist of the ankle is going to hurt him. They're going to wrap it up, and he'll come out strong in the second half.
There you see a shot of the Hawthorne faithful who pack Halcap Field for every Cougar game. May as well, and you see Coach Robbins running off. They set the play. I want you fans to go ahead and mark this date on your calendar right now, November 15th at Olympian Field. We'll talk more about that in future Cougar contests in just a couple of moments. We've got 1:45 left in the first half. Second down play for the Cougars. Here's a pump fake. Here's a pass going to be out in the flat. Let's see if they can get up there. Touchdown! Jermaine Chapman with the touchdown pass from Ray Rivera. 20-yard TD pass, and that gets the Cougars on the board. It's going to be incomplete. The defender was beaten on the play. Here's the extra point replay coming up. Well, instead, let's look at the kickoff. I think that was a little more exciting anyway than the extra point attempt. We got 2nd down and 10 as the teams come up to the line of scrimmage. I formation this time. Looks like Falk is the deep back, and he is. They fake the handoff to Falk. Here's a drop back to pass. They go over in the flat. Another screen pass. He's got the sideline wide open before he's going to be finally pushed out of bounds. Look like inside the 10, maybe even inside the 5-yard line with 1:10 left.
45, Daniel Fitzgibbons.
Boy, a tough break for the Cougar defense.
1 minute remaining in the first half. But Loyola threatening again.
It's hard to describe, fans. You know, the Cougars have played tough this whole half. They were down by 14 points. Here you're going to see that previous play. See the screen being set up, and actually it's a very, very short screen. Doesn't even start back to the line of scrimmage. But now he's got 2 blockers out in front and takes it down inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal. They keep it on the ground. This is Falk with the carry. They grab for the ball. Let's see. There's no signal on the play. And we saw a lot of teams doing this last year, Alex. I personally, don't like it a whole lot. These guys do a lot of what they see the pros do, and everybody is now into stripping the ball. Instead of doing fundamental football of tackling the player, every player wants to reach and try to create that fumble. Guy picks up an extra yard or 2 because you don't have a good grip on it.
That's right. If you're a strong hitter, you jar it out of there.
Okay, once again, they fake the handoff. Quarterback keeper. They stand him up.
Great Casper faking the handoff.
Whoa, and they do bend his leg under him, boy.
By the Cougar
Looks
defense.
like a pretzel, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And timeout called by Loyola with 25 seconds remaining.
Yeah, man, these young guys show a lot of flexibility out that my old bones don't have. I mean, if you saw the guy, his legs were bent back completely under him. I'd be crying uncle myself, right? Right about that time.
And on his replay, you could tell if it was one of us, we'd be on a stretcher.
Yeah, here we see on the replay. Now, let's watch this. He gets stood straight up. Yeah, there you see. I mean, you're talking torn ligaments all over the place, man.
Jeez. We should have warned the audience on that one.
But the Cougar defenders are certainly appearing to answer the challenge here. We've got 25 seconds left in the first half. Cougar band trying to give them a little bit of additional inspiration. Loyola, of course, has called a timeout here. Cougars start Pay League action on October 4th at home against Torrance. They also get Peninsula at home this year. That's another exciting game. But right now we've got one here on the field. It's 3rd and goal. They fake the handoff again. They've got a man in the flat, and they went for it, and this is going to be a touchdown. The Cougar defender went for the interception. Again, as Alex spoke about a little bit before, man, it's a suicide play. He went for it, he missed it. The Cub receiver caught it, got in for the touchdown. Here we're going to see it right here. Let's see if we can see who the defender is. You see him reach right there. Should have wrapped him up, and by then he was in the end zone. Number 3, Greg Toombs put a lick on him, but that lick was out there across the goal line. That makes it 20-7 now, with the extra point attempt coming up. Good quarterbacking by the Cub quarterback, Casper. I believe his name is, Ray Casper. Runs his fakes very well. Keeps the Cougar defenders guessing exactly where the ball is. And, of course, they converted the long kickoff return into a touchdown. Cougars should be going in down only by 7. Instead, they find themselves down by 14, which has been their margin most of the half, except it was 14-0. They cut that in half. With a minute and a half to go, they gave up the long kickoff return to the Cubs, and the Cubs, of course, capitalized with 6 points on the board. So 14 of the Cub points, Alex, out of the 21 that they have come off of breakdowns by the Cougars. One was the fumble punt return that gave them the ball at the 15-yard line. They took that in, and then after the Cougar touchdown, the Cougars allowed them to get a long return deep in the Cougar territory that they converted for a touchdown.
Very convenient that the Cougars are taking advantage of those miscues. However, you got to give Ray Casper some credit there, Rufus. The play that he is making, where he is burning the Cougars, is where he's rolling off to his right, and as a right-handed quarterback, he is literally throwing in midair across his body, and he's got an open man. You can't do nothing about that. A lot of quarterbacks aren't athletic enough to execute that play.
Gutierrez and Chapman back to receive. This one looks like it's going to be handled by Milton Gutierrez. He heads up the sideline. He's got some running room, and he brings it out to about the 28-yard line. We've got 13 seconds left in the first half. Looks like a chance for a couple of Hail Marys here, maybe, if the Cougars want to try to get some of this back, or they may decide to play it safe and take a knee. There you see Gutierrez on your screen, listed as a running back and strong safety. One of the many seniors on this Cougar football team, also one of the captains of this team. There's a drop back pass out in the flat. Referee indicates that it's incomplete. We've got 9 seconds left in the half. I think you got to pop this baby toward the end zone, Alex.
You sure do. You just got to, because basically you're going to kick the ball off to the Cubs in the second half. Since Loyola kicked off to Hawthorne, it's only logical that they return the favor in the beginning of the second half.
There you see the scoreboard there. 9 seconds left in the first half. Score 21-7 in favor of the Loyola Cubs. They fake the handoff. He keeps it himself. He's got some running room. He's going to be brought down short of the first down. And with 1 second left. We've got 1 second left. I think this time for sure, if they have a chance to get the play off, but I believe the clock will start while they're in the huddle. Let's see here. Well, you've got a timeout on the field. We see Coach Robbins out on the field. If I'm not mistaken, Hawthorne's been out of timeouts a while back. So it must be a timeout taken by Loyola. Of course, that gives the Cougars every right to use it to their strategic advantage. We've seen the Cougars come with a couple of trick plays tonight. Let's see if they've got one more up their sleeve to end the first half with.
Well, it's either that or you take a knee, right?
Exactly. Unless there's a defensive penalty, this should be the last play of the first half. Of course, we know the game at any level cannot end either at the half or at the end of the game on a defensive foul. Well, they split the backs. Etiquette. There's a pass out in the flat. They faked it. They faked the handoff. Let's see what they're going to get. Well, they're going to get good yardage out of it, but not a touchdown. They take it down inside the 43-yard line, so they do come up with another trick play. And that was Chapman who comes up limping. So, fans, after one half, score stands Loyola 21, the Cougars 7. Looks like Chapman was injured on the play, still having some trouble getting off the field. This is Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. We're going to have you enjoy the halftime festivities, and we'll be back with some first half stats at the top of the second half, fans, on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. All right, fans, we're back just about ready for the second half kickoff. Of course, the Cougars will be kicking off to the Cubs of Loyola. The score as we get ready to start third quarter action is 21-7 in favor of the visiting Cubs of Loyola. Now we see the Cougars taken to the field to a rousing cheer from their crowd. And with the exception of a couple of big breakdowns by the Cougars, this could easily be a 7-7 game as they play this highly rated Loyola team. Might also mention we're pleased to be joined tonight by Jim Hill from Channel 2 providing coverage. Of course, they come out during the big games, but you know who your real friends are. Those are folks who are here with you game in and game out. That's none other than the staff at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. But nonetheless, we'll allow them to have a little piece of the action tonight and hopefully give some favorable coverage to our own Cougars and get a little more exposure for some of these players, Alex, as they start to compete for college scholarships and so forth. So it can't hurt to have someone like Jim Hill in the house giving some coverage to our game. So the Cougars are going to be kicking off, I'm sure, at halftime. Coach Robbins got back to basics with his guys and told them, hey, you've played this team pretty doggone good for them to be as highly rated as they are, a Division I team, and you only trail by a score of 21-7. That, in all honesty, as we've said before, should be no more than a 7-7 tie. But that's neither here nor there. We've got 24 minutes, fans, to try to make up the difference and see if we can get back in this thing and maybe squeeze out a victory here, which would be a pretty good way to get the season started. Of course, there's some folks, Alex, that are saying that some of the Cougar troubles can be attributed to the fact that it's Friday the 13th.
That could
At any
be
rate, here's the kickoff. It's going to be handled by Falk, who handled most of the running back duties as well. And already the Cougars are showing improvement as they limit him to a return out to the 26-yard line. Let's go now to Alex Manila for some first half stats.
Well, statistically speaking, in the first half, the Loyola Cubby quarterback, Ray Casper, completed 3 of 8 passes for 54 yards, 1 touchdown. And as soon as this play finishes, I'll go over the Hawthorne Cougar side.
1st and 10 for Loyola. First play from scrimmage here in the second half. They run a nice fake. In fact, they had me faked out as well on that one. They gave it to the fullback, number 33. My eyes were on Falk. Then they switched to the quarterback, neither of whom had the ball. Number 33 for them, who is listed in the program as Juan Escalera. Let's look at the replay here. There you see Escalera breaking up the middle of the line. He's going to be hit from behind by number 4 there, and finally brought down by number 3. Number 4 for the Cougars, of course, is Brandy Russell. Number 3, Greg Toombs. So it's a first down. They give it to the big fullback again, and he's rumbling and stumbling, and he gets out into Cougar territory at the Cougar 43, Cougar 37-yard line, rather. And they ran the exact same play, except they went the other direction that time. First time they came left, this time they went right. Here you see on the replay again, you see the fake handoff, and they execute the fakes beautifully. A lot of arm tackling right there. You see Buck McCorvey easing his way in there, sizing him up, and McCorvey brings him down along with number 26, Jermaine Chapman. Another 1st and 10. This time it's inside handoff. They come the other way. And he's got some running room. Can they catch him from behind? Doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Touchdown for number 20. And that was Jose Mendoza in our programs, listed as Jose Mendoza. So they ran the same 3 plays, Alex.
They sure did, and it's effective on that. As you can see, he comes around out of the backfield. Big blocking right there. Not much speed, not much finesse. All he does is outrun the Cougar defense right there, which are kind of big guys, but however, they hesitate right there, and Mendoza's got it home free. Big holes. They take advantage of the big holes. Daylight, touchdown all the way.
That extends their lead to 27-7 now. Here's the extra point attempt. It's up, and it's good. So it takes them 1 minute, 11 seconds to put 7 points on the board here in the 3rd quarter. That makes the score 28-7 in favor of Loyola. The Cougars now really going to have to get off the dime and get off the dime quick, Alex.
That's right. Mendoza isn't a big kid. He looks like 5'6", 5'7", maybe, with his high heel cleats on, and he's not that heavy of a runner. But what he is, he's a quick cut type of slasher type of runner. And as he rushed through the holes, there were huge gaping holes that all Mendoza had to do was just find an angle on the Cougar defense, and he was home free.
Why don't we run through a couple of those first half stats, Alex, while we prepare for the Loyola kickoff?
Well, since our man Dale, the stat guy, isn't here, he'd rather go to the Dodger game. I don't know why. They're only playing the Reds, not like they're playing the Padres. However, I made do with my best shorthand and statistic endeavors here. I mentioned that the Loyola quarterback was 3 for 8 for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. Ray Rivera, in his first varsity game, first half, he completed 10 passes out of 16 for 95 yards. Milton Gutierrez had 12 carries for 40 yards, and Rivera scrambling 6 times for 37 yards.
Thank you very much. Gives you a feel, fans, for the way the first half went. We're in 3rd quarter action now. Loyola kicking off. Back to receive deep is Green and Chapman. Looks like it's going to go. Green picks it up after it touches the ground. And he's hit, breaks a couple of tackles. Finally brought down, though, right outside the 20-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot it at about the 21, where it'll be 1st down and 10. We've got 10:40 here in the 3rd quarter. It's going to be Cougar ball, 1st and 10, their first possession of the 2nd half. Ray Rivera brings him out and up to the line of scrimmage. He drops back, pump fakes, lets it go. Looks like he's got a man and sails right through his hands. Oh, that was a good-looking pass there by Rivera, intended for Marquise Johnson.
That would have been an easy 7 points right there for the Cougars. All the way up sideline, he was home free. All he has to do is, I don't know, have extensions or something went right through his grasp. Had longer fingernails, something, I don't know. He looked like he had an easy reception there.
It's a good throw there by Rivera. Makes it a 2nd down and 10. This time they keep it on the ground to Kete Teafo. Ball comes loose. It should be ruled down, though. Should be ruled down. Let's
Looked
see
like
what
he
the
was
referee
down.
says. Well, they don't catch a break from the official. They're going to rule it's a fumble with a recovery by Loyola. Let's look at the replay here, fans. See if we can tell if the officials made a good call here. Yeah, no, he wasn't down. It came loose before he was down. He was on his back when it came loose. Good call by the official. Once again, a turnover by the Cougars gives the Cubs of Loyola the ball in excellent position. They send the man in motion, number 20. They hand it off to him as he comes around the side, and he picks up about 6 yards on the carry. Let's look here on the replay. You see the handoff there to Mendoza. Mendoza puts a spin on, but he doesn't get away from the Cougar defender. My mouth is right up on the mic. Okay, we got flags on the play, fans. Let's see what the call is going to be. It's going to be a procedure call. It's going to go against Loyola. That should make it a 2nd down and 10. Actually make it about a 2nd down and 11. Ball is spotted, fans, at the 28-yard line of the Cougars. Cubs got it on the Cougar turnover. There we see Mendoza run again. Mendoza breaks a couple tackles. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown. And now this one is starting to get away from the Cougars, Alex, by a whole lot. That makes it 34-7. So they've scored 13 points now with an attempt for the 14th point coming up in the last 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
Here we see confusion. 3 Cougars bouncing into each other. Whoa, what do we got here? And we got a touchdown. 7 more points. That was number 6, 26, and 35. Maybe they'll get their act together next time, and that won't happen.
Extra point attempt coming up. This should be fairly automatic for him. Kicks up, and it's no good. So with 9:24 left in the third quarter, fans, the score now stands at 34-7 in favor of the Cubs of Loyola.
And one thing you got to say for Hawthorne is a phrase that Coach Dan Robbins always preaches: in order to get better, you want to be the best, you have to play the best. So they may not have the best preseason records because they play all the tough teams that nobody else wants to play. But I think, Rufus, this makes Hawthorne a stronger, more disciplined, and more, I guess, more informed and, I guess, athletically talented as they head into the Bay League competition.
Well, you're right, Alex. Hawthorne has been a team that has traditionally learned from its early season mistakes, and they've also converted some tough defeats in the preseason against tough non-league opponents into some pretty big victories when they get into Bay League action. And that stood them well, both in league action as well as in playoff action.
That's right. Not many teams in the South Bay can say they play top teams. They're mostly getting the pushover teams, the Division 5s and 6s and 7s, and pad their undefeated preseason record. And what happens? The Bay League comes, and you wonder why they start losing.
Green and Chapman back to receive once again for the Cougars. They're the deep backs. Gutierrez and Brandy Russell are the up backs. Gutierrez number 2, Russell number 4. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be handled by Green. He picks it up, looks for a hole to run into. Going to be slips and goes down at the 25-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the 25-yard line. There's no reason to give up the ship yet, Alex. I mean, there's still plenty of time left in this game. We're looking at 21 minutes overall. It's left, quite frankly. Los Alamitos is Los Alamitos. What am I saying here? Loyola. 2 scores have come in a very short time span here in the third quarter. They didn't eat up a lot of time on the clock, and maybe if the Cougars can get something going and get a couple quick scores on their own, they can get back in this thing. Fumbles, and he's going to be down. So there's going to be a loss on the play back to the 18-yard line. Give him a loss of 7. Is going to make it a 2nd and 17 now for the Cougars. We'll see here on the replay that the contact by the Cub defender was just enough to cause Rivera to lose his balance right there. Was where he lost his balance, got his hand on the ball, and of course there he was downed when he went down to get it.
That's right. Did the smart thing. He saw that nobody was open. Why take a chance and keep running with it? Just fall on the ball. It's down. Play it safe.
8 minutes, 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Score 34-7. They keep it on the ground. Gutierrez with the carry. It's going to be brought down after a very short gain. The original line of scrimmage, of course, was the 25. They need to get to the 35 for the first down. Brings up a 3rd and 13 now for the Cougars. There you see Rivera looking to the sideline. Of course, he's looking at the Cougar coaching staff there for the play. As we mentioned to you before, of course, Dan Robbins being the head coach, with a very able coaching staff assisted by Ty Tosia as the linebacker coach. Jim Walsh is the offensive line. We'll finish that in just a moment. Here Rivera's looking back to pass, short hops it to his intended receiver. Pass incomplete, brings up a 4th down. The rest of the coaching staff consists of Otto Plum on the defensive line. Dick Robbins, who's the head coach's dad. Not often that you see a dad being an assistant coach under his son, but in this case, that's the way it works here. He's the quarterback coach. Mike Davis, in his first year with the Cougars, is the defensive end and sophomore coordinator. James Swain is the defensive backs coach and the sophomore defensive coordinator. Jim Lamb, there we see a fair catch there by Loyola. And the rest of the guys on the coaching staff: Carnell Carter, Ken Teagues, Dan Berthel, Vince Atuoe, and Paul Toya. Of course, the athletic director here at Hawthorne High School is always very helpful to the Channel 60 broadcast, is Kai Courtney, with Joe Chavez as a journal assistant, and as Al mentioned earlier, along with Dale, the statistician. 1st and 10 from Loyola from the Cougar 48-yard line. And they've shown nice fake there, drop back the pass. He's got a receiver wide open, hits his intended receiver. He's coming across the middle. He's breaking tackles left and right. Number 80 gets down inside the 10, inside the 5. Looks like they're going to spot it at about the 1-foot line if I'm looking where the official is set up at. That was number 80 on the reception for them, who also made a great defensive play in the first half, Antonio Harris.
Looks like the tallest player out there. I don't see how the Loyola quarterback can miss him.
Here you're going to see on the replay, quarterback drops back the pass, hits his receiver, Antonio Harris, who we're being told was a preseason All-American candidate. There you see him break a couple of tackles, man, just unbelievable. Finally brought down the shoestrings at the 1-foot line. They give it to Falk. They scored a touchdown. Makes it now a score of 40-7. With 7:06 left in the third quarter, fans. That's 3 touchdowns and 2 extra points. That's 20 points so far here in the third quarter in a little less than 5 minutes, Alex.
Well, like I said, it's going to take a miracle for any type of come from behind victory, but at least the Cougars could pretty much stay to being respectable, getting up on the scoreboard, be it via a field goal or just try to maintain, start some kind of rally. Show the Cubs that the Cougars are not going to just lay down and let Loyola come and run it up on them. I think they're going to try to get up on the board, try to generate something. They got another period to play along with 7 minutes left of this one.
Extra point was good, makes the score 41-7. Here we're going to see the replay again, the handoff there to Falk. And Falk just crosses the line of scrimmage, the goal line, which is the white line that you see there. Excellent push by the offensive line of Loyola. The score at the half was 21-7. That was only 5 minutes ago. Now it's 41-7. I mean, when these guys start to pour it on, man, they pour it on. You're talking 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes, Alex.
That's right, but see, you got to wonder also, where was all this offense early in the game, in the first quarter, and up until halftime, it was still within the Cougars' reach.
Well, I'm sure they're saying better late than never, and indeed it did come tonight. Cougars have a tall mountain to climb. Most of that mountain has respect written on the side of it, and pride. This one's just about out of reach in reality against a team the caliber of Loyola. But stranger things have happened in football. Let's hang around and see what happens. I know Channel 60 will be here to the end of the game. Let's see if Channel 2 decides to hang around to the end of the game. Here's an excellent return. He's got a couple of men to beat. Finally brought down from behind. That was Jermaine Chapman. Brings it out to the 48-yard line, 49-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10. Alex, you know this Cougar family pretty well. Is number 52 a kid, the kid that runs the ball out there, or is that just a real short person?
Let me see. Let me check out the numbers one more time when I see that little, maybe midget, vertically impaired.
1st and 10 for the Cougars from their own 49-yard line. Beneficiaries of a nice kickoff return. Pass out in the flat's going to be incomplete. Let's go back to the kickoff, fans, and watch Jermaine Chapman as he works his way up the field. Nearly broke that one all the way. Here you see him heading for the wedge. There's the blocking. Gets through. Now he makes his cut. Excellent block right there. Number 28 got wiped out, but that moment when he had to slow down is what cost him. They were able to catch him from behind.
Oh, that little kid down there with the hat? Yeah, that's one of the youngsters decided to be a volunteer ball boy.
So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars now. There you see him, okay. Well, I got to say, he does his job very well. I mean, I simply thought he was a lot older than what he looks because he's been pretty efficient handling the ball for the officials tonight.
Well, they recruit these Cougars young around here. They get them involved as soon as they can pick up a ball and know what to do with it.
2nd down play for the Cougars now. Right. And number 56 makes a stick there on, I believe that was Kete that he stopped. That was Sloan Joseph for the Cubs of Loyola. Here we're going to see on the replay again. See the handoff there, and there you see the stick. I mean, he met him right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10 now. Cougars show an I formation. They fake the handoff, drop back the pass. It's tipped in the air. It's going to be intercepted. Yet another turnover here for the Cougars, Alex. And that was number 56. Once again, Joseph on the play.
Well, you were right, Rufus. It must be Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Everything that can go wrong for Hawthorne seems to be going wrong for them and right for Loyola.
Here you're going to see the replay of the tip pass. Comes up, there's the tip. Positions himself. You see the referee signaling that the ball was tipped and that it was a live ball. The defender could go after it. Cougar defense holds them for a short game. We've got 5:45 left in the third quarter. Fans score 41-7 in favor of the Loyola Cubs. It's going to be a 2nd down and 9 for Loyola. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line. On Loyola's side of the field. Once again, arm tackling to no avail. Buck McCorvey giving pursuit. He's finally driven out of bounds, but not until after he crosses over in the Cougar territory at the Cougar 43. Looks like they want to spot it at. It's going to be a 3rd down and 1. Here you're going to see on the replay, there an arm tackle, does no good. McCorvey giving pursuit, along with number 6. Couldn't see whose number that was that finally drove him out of bounds, but it makes it a 3rd and 1 now for Loyola. Once again, to keep it on the ground, got a flag on the play. That little number 20, Mendoza, drags a man for the 1st down. He was hit behind the line. Now we got McCorvey, who's down on the field, hasn't got up yet. And let's see, McCorvey is still down. And he's shaken up. Buck McCorvey, number 5. There you see him there, plays tight end and linebacker. Senior. One of the captains of the team. While they're attending to McCorvey, and we certainly hope it's going to be okay, and obviously they're taking precautionary measures. We're going to look and see if we can pull up the rest of the Cougar schedule for you here. Okay, you see McCorvey up and coming off under his own steam to a cheer from the crowd. Oh, we're getting the medical opinion from a TV production truck that says he may have gotten a stinger in the shoulder. Now, we'll see if he's any part. What's that guy named in Dallas that does a little bit of running? He's not that good. Who got hurt a couple of weeks ago? Emmett Smith. We'll see if he's like Emmett. Big hit. Here's a fumble on the play. Ball's
grabs.
loose. Everybody's reaching for it. And they're saying the Cougars have recovered. Looks like there was number 12 for the Cougars with the recovery, Alex. And that's Keith Green.
Looks like this is just what the Cougars needed to get some uplifting, and as we see on the replay right here, and Green going to be down near the bottom of the pile. And right there, you see him in the screen. He happens to be in the right place at the right time. This is a gift right in front of him, and he's a recipient of the fumble.
Okay, so it's Cougar ball, 1st and 10. Nice pump fake there, going deep, too deep. Overthrew his intended receiver. Well, one thing Rivera is showing is that he does have an arm. And he doesn't hesitate to let it go every once in a while. It's a good pass, just too long for its intended receiver.
That's right, but he threw a couple of them tonight that weren't really underthrown, went right through the grasp of the receiver, which could have went for big yardage. And that's right there, Rufus. Coach Dan Robbins would not have started this young quarterback if he didn't think he had potential, had the arm, and had scrambling ability to lead this Hawthorne Cougar football team.
So he's 2nd down and 10 now. Ball spotted at the 44-yard line. There's a pass incomplete. His receiver hit his receiver in the hands, and he lost sight of where the ball was. Marquise Johnson.
One thing, Rufus, that has been brought to my attention at the half is that in the game against Dorsey next week, it will be a doubleheader here Friday night with the sophomore team playing at 5 o'clock and varsity at 7:30.
You heard it, fans. The game against Dorsey. Now let me find out from the truck if, in fact, Lawndale's cable channel 60 is going to be right here. So fans, want you to join us back again right here as the Cougars take on Dorsey next week. On the end around, you see number 3 running into the defensive line. That was Greg Toome. And boy, he ran into number 15 of Loyola, Wesley Willard. And that was where that run ended. So it's a 4th down. Looks like a 4th and 5. We're going to see the replay here. Toome turns it up. He's got good motion. And then you sort of see 15 stopping 13 also is bringing him down from behind. Scott Arrowsmith. Now we're going to have a timeout on the field. That timeout being taken by the Cougars. So that's one of theirs. They've got 2 to go here in the second half. As you say, while we got a timeout, let me run down the schedule for you quickly, fans. Next Friday, Cougars take on Dorsey here at Hellcat Field. On the 27th, they travel to Santa Ana to take on Mater Dei. October 4th is Torrance at home. October 11th, a big Bay League matchup will bring the Peninsula Panthers up to Hellcat Field. It'd be nice to get them here on our field for a change. Santa Monica at Santa Monica College on the 18th of October. 25th has North Torrance at North. West Torrance at West. Inglewood is homecoming on November 8th. So all you guys and girls, get your suits and dresses pressed and clean now. We know that'll be a show, as it always is. And then, of course, Lusinger on the 15th is the final regular season game. Cougars punt it away, bounces out of bounds right at about the 30-yard line.
Looks like they got to work on their kicking game.
That punt almost took our cameraman out with it, Jose Bravo.
Oh, he's a team player.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for Loyola at their own 30-yard line. This telecast being brought to you by Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. And we're going to be with you fans every week for the rest of the regular season, so we hope you'll join us here.
Is it my imagination, or is this quarter a little longer than most of them?
Well, it seems longer because it got started with some scoring pretty early, and there you got Mendoza picking up another 10 yards. Looks like enough for the 1st down, and right now they're taking a chunk out of the Cougar hide, Alex. There you see McCorvey with the shoulder injury there. They've got an ice pack on it. But it definitely looks like McCorvey is done for the night. And although we're reluctant to speculate, as any good announcing crew is, but we're being told it could be a separated shoulder and not a stinger. We'll try to get an official word on it and pass it along to you, fans. We'll see if our cameraman, Jose, well, he's gone past the injury now, if he could duck in there and see what was going on. Second down and 4. Once again, Mendoza with the carry. They string him out. It's going to be near the first down. Looks like he may be about a foot short. Half a yard, they're going to call it. Makes it a third down now. They're at the 49.5-yard line. Now we've got another injured Cougar down on the field. This is an official's timeout. And this is number 30, Jonathan Rodriguez. We're going to take a break here, fans, on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60, and we'll rejoin you right after this station break. Action, fans, and while we were away, we only missed one play, and in fact, that was a third and short play, and the Cougar defense held Mendoza on the running play, was stopped right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. In fact, he lost a half a yard on the play, so it makes it a 4th down and 1 for Loyola from their own 49-yard line. Looks like the play may be coming in from the sideline in the form of number 29. Now we've got a delay of game that's going to be called against Loyola, and that's going to make it a 4th and 6, and I think that may change the equation completely. If they were thinking about going for it rather, I think now they may be forced to kick it away, Alex.
And it's been a while since Loyola has made any type of big-time decision. Obviously, they decided to take the basic one, which is to punt the ball away.
And they're going to punt it away. That's Michael McGillivray handling the punting duties, and he does get the kick up. It's going to be handled by Green again. Green looks for some running room, doesn't find any. Looks like there was a face mask on the play, but it wasn't called by the official. And now Green is limping off the field. Looks like he may have suffered an inner thigh injury. Well, this is a family broadcast, so we'll use words or terminology that these young people can relate to a little more clearly. There you see Gutierrez with the carry. Winding down to the end of the third quarter, mercifully. And after 3 quarters, fans, the score 41-7 in favor of the guest Loyola Cubs. In that third quarter, they scored 20 points, Alex. 3 quick scores. The score at the half was 21-7, and we thought we might have ourselves a ball game, and the Cougars certainly were in a position to be competitive here in the second half. But, man, when you give up 3 touchdowns in a 5-minute span to open the third quarter, that will take you out of the game.
Sure will. It'll take you out in the pros, college, even in Pop Warner football. You give up 3 scores, fumble the ball away, and mishandle it, you don't deserve to win the game. You know, you don't deserve to win the quarter. I mean, it takes a very special team with trick plays and very talented athletes to make such a comeback and score 5 touchdowns in order to be close enough to win a ball game.
Well, Coach Robbins certainly knew what his team needed to do, Dan, in order to be competitive in this game. And this was his quote: "Mistake-free is our aim. Loyola is just the power, and they have power because they don't make mistakes. We have to match that." Well, the Cougars haven't done a very good job tonight of matching Loyola in the mistake-free department, because they've made some turnovers that have been very, very costly throughout the course of this game. There we saw the pass completed to number 4 for the Cougars, and of course we all know that that's Brandy Russell. And now the Cougar players are starting to drop like flies. Here you see Brandy Russell, 5'10", 180-pound junior. Chapman, number 6, who's been a key receiver in the Cougar offensive set tonight. He's down. Fortunately, his looks like it may be just a cramp. Of course, when you're going down hard on the turf, you're likely to incur a cramp. But he comes off under his own steam, so that's a good sign. It's a 3rd down and 8. Once again, they fake. He's rolling out right. He lets the pass go, hits his receiver, and it's complete. And it's a 1st down as they cross the 30-yard line out to near the 33-yard line for the Cougars now as we start 4th quarter action. Here we're going to see on the replay the rollout by Rivera. And I got to tell you, Alex, for this to be his first varsity game, this kid has shown a lot of composure, especially playing against an opponent the caliber of Loyola. I mean, he's playing like a veteran.
Yeah, seasoned veteran.
So that definitely has to be considered a bright spot for Coach Robbins as he goes back to analyze this game and break it down. And that's what the coaches do after each game. They're going to go back, they're going to sit down, they're going to break this game frame by frame. And, of course, one of the things that he's going to like when he looks at it is that his quarterback, his rookie quarterback, Ray Rivera, has not made many mistakes tonight in running the offense. He also has shown great foot speed. I mean, you talk about having a guy now, and we know Satiana Lato used to run the option, but this guy is one of the best arms that I've seen on a Hawthorne quarterback in many a year. Right now, Gutierrez with the run. Gutierrez trying to hit the corner, doesn't make it. It's brought down by a host of defenders. And only one interception tonight, and that was off a tip pass. Pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage. There you see Rivera there, a junior, 5'9", 155. On the screen, Ray Rivera. So what do we got? We got a 3rd down and 7 now. There's an inside handout to Gutierrez going the other way. And after he moves forward about 4 yards, he's driven back. Actually, they give him a gain of about 2. It's going to make it a 4th down. Should be about a 4th and 4. Cougars now in a punting situation. Jermaine Chapman to handle the punting. Cougars have pulled a couple of tricks out of the bag tonight. Let's see what they do here. Well, they show another punt. He's going to have to do something, though. He's got to do something with it. There is a pass, and it's dropped. We're going to have a flag on the play. Yeah, because that one broke down completely. Now, there's another thing that's happening, Alex, and I've seen it happen on every punt snap that they've had, and I don't know whether this is intentional, but the guy is squibbing the ball back to the kicker. It always takes a bounce. It's never a clean snap that sails through the air, but instead it always hits the ground, and that's bound to throw off the kicker's timing.
Yep, and there you see it.
There you see it on the replay. It's hard to tell whether that was a design play or a busted play. And they called illegal men downfield against the Cougars, so it'll be Loyola's ball at the Cougar 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Loyola with 9:33 left in the 4th quarter. They give it to number 33. We got a flag that's thrown into the pile. It appeared. They're going to call holding against Loyola. That'll be a 10-yard penalty. You're going to see the replay, and the holding was up on the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that's what the referee called, and you saw it there, Feds, as we revised. The guy was tackling the Hawthorne tackler. Makes it a 1st and 15 now. Once again, keep the ball on the ground, and the Cougars gang tackle number 33 right at the line of scrimmage. Of course, with a 34-point lead and under 9 minutes left in the game, perhaps we'll see Loyola start to liberally substitute in this game, Alex, and give some of their other players, and they do carry a bunch of players on their traveling squad, some playing time here.
A lot of clean, shiny white uniforms out there.
Of course, they still got Casper in at quarterback. They have made one change at running back because Falk, number 28, is no longer running. Here's Mendoza. And you're right, and he's a little dude, man, but he's got some speed, and he breaks for the corner. He's out near another first down. Looks like he's got the first.
He runs like a big man, doesn't he, Rufus?
Yeah, he's got a lot of speed. He's kind of hard to find. Kind of reminds you of Dave Meggett, who used to play for the New York Giants, and
little bowling ball with legs.
Here you see him on the replay, man. And a part of what happens is that he literally gets lost. He's so small in there, and by the time they sort out where he is, he's gone. I mean, you talk about a guy that looks like he should be on the Pop Warner team.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the Muggsy Bogues of Loyola. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Number 33 spins out of it, picks up maybe a yard. Clock's still running, and one of the things now I think that you're going to see Loyola do, and that's just eat up chunks of time by running the ball.
Yeah, you got to give credit to these Hawthorne Cougars, where most teams would run away from Loyola and dodge them. Hawthorne takes it upon themselves to, hey, we'll play you guys. We might learn something from it. We'll draw fans. We'll make some money. But we're going to learn a lot, and we'll be better for it down the line.
Second down and 10 now for Loyola. Ball spotted at the 27-yard line of the Cougars. Now we see a couple of fresh faces in. One at running back is number 27, Matthew Earhart.
Am I hot?
Alex Jimenez back in the game.
So they're still going with Casper at quarterback, but they are switching up their running backs every so often now. There's an inside handoff to number 38 on the dive, and that's London Sloan.
Number 38, Landon Sloan.
Landon Sloan, he's a big guy. He must be one of their fullbacks, Alex.
Yeah, that's right.
Another first
We
down.
got a lot of big guys. Not too many little guys, but the little guys sure can scoot and play like the big boys.
There you're going to see on the replay, see him carrying a host of Hawthorne defenders there. I know I'll hear about that from the Hawthorne fans, so I'll get my apologies in now. Now you see number 27 breaking off. His jersey is pretty clean, so that means that's Earhart again. This is his second play of the game.
Doesn't get much out of that one. Second down.
5:43 left in the contest, fans. 41-7 in favor of Loyola. This, of course, is a non-league game. Let's call it a second down and 9. They spot the ball at about the 15-yard line. Nice fake there. In fact, they've changed quarterbacks.
Weird
That
number
was-
for a quarterback, huh?
Yeah, that's
94.
number 94. Listed in our program as Jeff Grau.
Well, Jeff probably doesn't get to play much late in the game, but then again, Loyola so dominating. You see him take advantage of what little playing time he does have right there. Dive
Third down.
closer to the end zone.
So now we see the changes that Loyola is making really starting to come into effect as they've changed quarterbacks. As you can see, Grau now the quarterback. Let's see, they're going to be down near the goal line. There's the official signal that it's a touchdown.
Touchdown, Loyola.
Well, the referee appeared to be pretty generous with that call. But that's going to make it 47-7. Let's look at the replay here. Here's the handoff to number 38, and he's pushing. Okay. Okay, they gave him forward progress. He was finally driven back, but the ball crossed the plane to the goal line, and that's all that's necessary. 47-7 in favor of Loyola with the extra point attempt coming up. Kick is up, and it's good.
McGillivray again with the kick, and it's good. And the score.
So after 21 first half points, Loyola has now come back, Alex, to put 27 second half points on the board. So their second half has been even bigger. Man, once the train got running, it was slow to get cranked up, but once it got running, man, it was unstoppable.
Yeah, I think I spoke a little too soon when I said that Loyola doesn't look like the dominating, highly ranked and rated team that they should be. But the end result is what counts here. Loyola's going to stay up in the rankings as they see that they thoroughly dominate a team such as Hawthorne. Hawthorne should have given more of a fight. However, they just didn't come back in the second half with the same intensity. And it looks like Loyola wanted it more. They pounded Hawthorne. And Hawthorne might drop down in the rankings. However, they are going to generate a lot of knowledge from this when they break down the film tomorrow, when they show it to the players. In the morning, the coaches are going to have their constructive criticism, but as a coaching staff, they have to regroup, find out their weaknesses, pick out their strengths, and build on that to be a much better team when they play Dorsey, because if they don't improve by the time Dorsey comes around Friday night, it could be a long preseason because they got Mater Dei the next week that follows.
Dorsey, of course, is a city section team. Mater Dei, a CIF Southern Section Division I team. There's a squib kick. It's finally picked up, looks like by number 26, Jermaine Chapman. Chapman's going to bring it out to about the 25-yard line. Now we've got flags on the play.
With a little under 5 minutes to go in the game. First down.
Okay, now we see a bunch more clean jerseys. I guess that's the way you tell when the subs are in there, since we don't know these guys personally or anything, but the cleaner the jersey, the more likely he's been standing on that sideline for a while. But now he's getting some game action.
That's right. Took the splinters out of his butt, and he's ready to start playing ball.
Wait a second. Now we've got some confusion on the field. Looks like they're going to say there was a fumble on the play, and out of all that, possession has ended up in favor of Loyola.
In games like this, Rufus, you like to play top caliber teams. You like to get a lot of experience. You like to get all your players in there, but you don't want to see them hurt. Not this early in the season when you can be out for half the season, then you're missing out against the Peninsulas, the Torrances, and North Torrances, where you need to get a couple wins under your belt.
Alex, let's also give a congratulations to the Hawthorne sophomore team, which in fact on yesterday defeated this Loyola team by a score of 21-0. So at least the Cougars got some measure of satisfaction out of the last 2 days of competition against Loyola, with the sophomores pitching a shutout.
That's good to see that the lower levels are gaining experience and taking out a little bit of retaliation. And as you can see on the replay here, maybe the Hawthorne Cougars need some of those sophomores up here, be a little bit more successful. Ooh, ring around the collar.
Jim Duffy at quarterback, number 10.
Now we see their third quarterback of the night. This is Duffy, Jim Duffy, number 10.
At the 20-yard line.
Handling the quarterbacking duties. We're under 4 minutes now, 3:55 and clock rolling. Left in the contest, score 48-7 in favor of Loyola. Duffy's now the quarterback. He hands off to number 37. Number 37 goes around the left end, picks up pretty good yardage on the play.
Ball carrier, number 37, Nick Tremonton.
That's Nick Tremonton. Let's go to a replay here. We'll see Nick Tremonton going around the left side. Good tackle there by the Cougar defender, although Tremonton drug him for about 3 yards on the play. Once again, they're keeping it on the ground, running straight up the middle. I think, Alex, this is the point of the game you get to where everybody wants to go home. Both teams want to go home. The fans want to go home. You know, I mean, this one's over.
Well, if we had computerized commentators up here, I'm sure we'd be in the parking lot on our way home, too.
So let's see. It's a 2nd down and 5 now for Loyola. They're down inside the Cougar 20-yard line. Judiciously and respectfully keeping it on the ground. It's up to the Cougars to stop their running attack. I mean, you know, as an act of sportsmanship, they, you know, could be putting it up, but they've decided, hey, let's just keep the clock running. We'll keep it on the ground.
And you know what? As I look out there, just from the top view, as you see the replay right here, this looks a little bit more up to their caliber of play, where that if the Cougars were to be playing this team out there right now from the beginning, we might have scored the other way around. You know, Loyola might have the 7 and Hawthorne might have the 47, but as it turns out, this is the 2nd and 3rd stringers. These are the scrubs. These are the bench warmers, and still, Hawthorne can still not shut them down.
More affectionately referred to as the reserves.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to get carried away.
Quarterback is number 10.
But that's our partner, Alex. He calls a spade a spade. That's what these guys are. They clearly are not the first unit. The first unit put 48 points on the boards, and these guys' job is to come in and run the clock
Duffy
out.
pulled down at the 22.
And right now, that's what they're trying to do.
Jermaine Chapman.
Is this what they call garbage time?
This is garbage time. That's a fair expression.
And the way they've been playing out there, it kind of smells like it.
Oh my God, this baby was in the refrigerator about 27 points ago.
Well,
Yeah.
The way I look at it, Coach Dan Robbins and his coaching staff has their work cut out for them. They now know the weaknesses for Hawthorne. They now know a little bit of their strengths. And maybe they'll put it all together next week against Dorsey and challenge them as well as Mater Dei the following week.
And clearly this is one of the 2 best opponents that they will play. Obviously, a Mater Dei team is also a team of the same caliber as Loyola. But then again, coming off this type of game and seeing how this one went, I think what, you know, the main lesson has to be, and Robbins, I keep going back to this point because he said this and he knew coming in, you got to play mistake-free football. The Cougars made mistakes. They shot their own self in the foot. Maybe it was Friday the 13th. Fortunately, we won't see another Friday the 13th the rest of this season unless we get maybe the CIF finals.
That's right.
But otherwise, you know, the Friday the 13th bug should be over, and maybe all these other Fridays are going to turn out to be a lot better. But I want to give a shout out here to the Cougar faithful here in the stands. The fans haven't gone anywhere. You hear a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of cheering out there. The pep squad is really doing a fantastic job of keeping the crowd in. They know the night wasn't their night, but they also know that there are going to be a lot of Friday nights right here at Hellcat Field where these guys are going to kick some butt.
That's right. And you know one thing about this, a team usually doesn't dominate a Hawthorne team like this. Hawthorne, Coach Robbins, everybody, they will remember this. They're not used to losing by over 40 points, okay? Usually it's Modern Day spanking the Cougars. Maybe this year will be Hawthorne's year. You never know. A team like this, when they're getting kicked and they're down, they remember it, and you know what? It usually comes back to haunt the team that usually runs it up.
So it's a 4th and 15. Loyola going for it. I would suspect they'll keep it on the ground, and they do. It's number 38 with the carry. The ball did come loose. Well, the Cougars get it either way, so doesn't matter. Boy, we're down to 34 seconds left in the contest, fans. Score 48-7.
And once again, a reminder for everybody still watching this telecast, Dorsey will be visiting Hellcat Field next Friday night, and we've been informed that it is a doubleheader. The varsity team plays at 7:30 as usual. However, the sophomores open up at 5 o'clock.
Of course, Channel 6's coverage will be here for the varsity game at 7:30, so I know you're going to join us right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. There's a fly pass reception nearly made by number 84 for the Cougars. And that, of course, is Andre Jackson. Andre's a 6'4", 182-pound senior. He's got good height. That was a good-looking pass. Like I say, Rivera has been very impressive.
He has been in the neighborhood, if not pinpoint accuracy.
Gives me a chance to remind you fans that these telecasts are the exclusive property of Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Any rebroadcast or reproduction without the express written consent of Lawndale's Community Channel 60 is expressly forbidden. As we run down the clock, here is a pitch back. Number 30. It's going to come around the left side. It's going to be driven out of bounds with about 5 seconds left. So we should be having what will be the final play coming up. And I know I kidded him a little early at the start of the second half, but in all fairness to Jim Hill and the crew from Channel 2 who came out tonight to watch this game, they stuck around for the entire second half, Alex.
Well, I guess you kind of have to if you're going to run a feature on somebody like Faulkner or somebody else of that caliber. As we see the end of the play there, takes out a couple teammates on the sideline.
As soon as the clock shows all zeros, I'm going to go see if I can get in his camera picture. This is the last play of the games, fans. Here's a deep pass. It's going to sail out of bounds, and that's going to end the contest. So, Cougars open the season on a bit of a sour note. Score of 48-7 in favor of the Loyola Cubs. However, as we said, it's an opportunity for the Cougars to learn some things from the night's contest, and I believe that they will. Of course, the first and foremost lesson will be that if you're going to stomp with the big dogs, you got to come out and you got to play mistake-free. There you see the final score, fans, from Hellcat Field. Loyola Cubs come down to Hawthorne and defeat the Cougars by a score of 48-7. Of course, we'll be back with you next week right here at Hellcat Field as Dorsey comes to town from the city section to take on our own Cougars. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be in fact in Long Beach at Wilson High School for a contest between Wilson and the Loyola Olympians. Our first chance to get a look at the Olympians down toward the third game of the season. And we'll also be at Loyola for the Bay League opener in the fourth week of the season, which will be October 4th. But at any rate, the only thing you have to do, fans, is tune us in right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 each week, because we'll be bringing you the very best in South Bay high school football featuring the Hawthorne Cougars and the Loyola Olympians. So for the entire crew here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 on this Friday the 13th, We're going to say good night from Michael Larza, Tom Strickfaden, Jose Bravo, Armin Jorge, Robert Ali, Alex Manila, and of course I'm Rufus Washington saying join us again next week, won't you, right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Good night. We got Jose Bravo in early. Good night.